Do, 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 do. I ain't dancing in the rain today. That's for sure. It was pouring all day today, Lyle.
Dude, it rained so hard this morning. I was glad to see it. Water running down the street. That's going to
Buckets
fill
and
up a lot of
buckets
these
over here.
ponds and lakes and bullshit like that have gotten low. Will have some water now, maybe.
So what do you think? You think the fishing gets better after a heavy rainstorm like that?
Oh, I do.
Yeah, I'm going to find out on Friday, I think.
I'm going to try to find out in the morning.
I've been fishing, though, and we're going to share pictures from you and I later.
That sounds good. Yeah.
And if anybody else has got them, you can always send them to me on Facebook. I'll show them off for you. I saw that you guys showed off some panfish pictures on Catfish Weekly.
We did. Yeah. There's no restrictions on the bragging board except they need to be caught within the last couple weeks.
I'm going to put a restriction on there from here.
Okay.
No panfish pictures from Lyle Stokes on that board. You save your pictures for here. Deal?
Deal.
All right, bud. Other than that, it's 70 degrees here. I'm happy to see it, to be honest, but the rain, not so much.
We had a high of 73, but it's only going to be like 57 tomorrow afternoon. But, that's okay. I'll take a 70-degree day anytime. It didn't quit raining until a little afternoon, and then this afternoon it got really good and very comfortable, and it's t-shirt weather for me,
Yeah, Crappie Kid. You can always send pictures that you want to show off for the show to mark@catfishandcrappie.com. I'll get those. I don't know if I'll be able to get in there today and show them off, but if you want to send them in for next week, more than happy to show them off. So
absolutely.
Other than that, I've been fishing quite a bit the last few days, Lyle. I went over the weekend a couple times. Got one day I caught one little bluegill. The other day I caught a few crappie. Yesterday I caught a bunch of them cat food fish that I like to call, also known as trout. But at least I got out.
That's right.
So that was fun. I froze bad yesterday. It was like 42 degrees and 25 mile an hour winds. It was crazy.
Yep. I was out for a little while myself yesterday. It was raining. I thought it had quit raining, but it was, kind of sprinkling. But it was 20 with 30 mile an hour wind gust and 42 degrees. And I fought it for about an hour and said, that's enough of this crap. I'm done.
Brian B says, yo, party people. Mark, we pushing 81 degrees tomorrow. You know, the last time you said 80, Brian, you were calling me 80 years old. No I didn't care for that too much, Lyle. It hurt me deep inside.
Josh, the weekend angler, had a birthday the other day. Now,
he did.
I've been told he says he's in his 40s. I thought he was more like in his 50s, but what do I know?
Yeah, I have no idea. I know I wished him happy birthday on Facebook. So hopefully he had a good birthday. Hopefully he went out and had some of the margaritas that he likes so much.
He does like them.
Yeah, or was it a frozen daiquiris? I don't know, Shirley Temples. I don't know, whatever it is.
I don't think he calls anything, to tell you the truth.
we got a bunch of good people just came in here. What do you say I say hello to them, Lyle?
Let's do that.
Let me see if I can get my computer to I was on the phone with Xfinity all day today, and it's starting to show. I'm having all sorts of problems. All right, we got Brian B. Catfishing. What's going on, Brian? How you doing? It might be 80 degrees tomorrow, but are you going to fish is another question. we both know the answer to that, don't we?
That's right.
Crappie Day, Darren. What's up, Darren? How you doing? There's our buddy Greg Burgess. How you doing, sir? There's my buddy Guerrero Bagre. Guerrero caught some good fish. You know what? I need to get those pictures. He sent me some pictures that his son caught some big crappie over there in the Milwaukee on the river right there. I forget the name of the river. There's Lance McCougai. How you doing, Lance? Schmieder of the Cedars in the house, the Crappie Kid. Once again, Kid, the email address is mark@catfishandcrappie.com. And it'll get to me. Wabash Nate in the house. What's up, Nate? How you doing? There's my buddy Jeff Beal. What's going on, Jeff? Let me see if I can find this. So hello to everybody. So we got the poll up at the top reminding you guys that spring is coming. but it's also telling you to hit that thumbs up. So if you did on your way in, I'm very grateful. If not, please do it now. We'd appreciate it 100%. Let's see. We got 11 people that like to be 11% of the poll likes to be cold, Lyle. We'll see what that looks like at the end of the show, but I'm kind of sorry to
must be ice fisherman.
Look this. He said this. Wait, first he said, wait, listen to this. First he says he's firing up the grill tomorrow. Just an FYI, pull up. He invites me over, and then look what he says his next comment. Firing up the grill tomorrow, you old fart. You'll be 50 next year, Brian.
I think he will.
Kevin Campbell, how you doing, Kevin? What's going on? So good. You know, grilling is coming up this time of year, Lyle.
Oh, it is.
I'm still working on the wife to get a meat slicer so I can smoke some turkey breast and some brisket and get it sliced up for the freezer. But she just won't let me have it, Lyle. I think we might have to override her, and I'll just blame her on you.
I know somebody's got one.
And?
I just letting you know.
Would that someone be you?
It would.
Sell me yours.
No.
Kevin said he went out for an hour the other day, 3 dink bluegill and a wretched, ugly, giant white perch.
Oh, nasty old bro. Nasty.
Brian B says Josh and Chad are knocking on the AARP door, not me.
AARP door. That's cool right there. I don't care who you are.
There's another thing the wife won't. What are you looking at down there? Look at the people at home, Lyle. Don't make me yell at you.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Messaging with Dockery, I'll bet.
No.
What's up,
I'm not
James?
sure he knows how to type. You know.
You could take that up with him later.
I'm quite sure I will after that.
Jeff Beal says, you know, we seasoned the Blackstone, made a Mexican dish and breakfast the following day. That's another thing the wife put the kibosh on. She's like, no more grills, and that includes a Blackstone.
I have the other one, and I don't remember the name of it, but man, I really like it. I can't imagine anything being any better.
I got a cast iron flat top that goes right on top of my gas grill that works pretty good. I can't control, so I use that. It's not like the full steel top with the edges that you can, really go to town on, but it makes a heck of a good smash burger, and grilled fish on there sure don't hurt. Let me tell you that.
Oh no. And grilled fish is awesome. I prefer them fried, but my goal this year is to smoke some. I've never smoked fish. And I want to do that really, really bad.
What is going on with Brian? Look at him. I remember when he used to respect us, Lyle.
That was a long time ago.
Now he's riding a long time ago. Now he's riding on Chad's shirt tails and he's all that. Oh my goodness. He says Lyle is scheduling his next doctor's appointment and making sure he got his senior citizen no copay going.
That would sure be nice, wouldn't it?
So yeah, it rained. Like I said, it rained buckets over here, Lyle. We'll see what it does to the river. If the river goes up, like I'm looking for at least a foot. That could happen with all this rain. They haven't closed. Well, actually, they did on April 1st, April Fool's Day. They closed the locks up in out in Algonquin to raise everything up to summer pool. So they're finally going to hold some of that water back. I may be able to sneak up to that dam. So I don't know where I'm going yet on Friday. I'm either going to fish the river for walleye. If I do that, I'll be out there with JT from Barrington Marina, my sponsor, one of my sponsors. I told him I'd take him fishing before it gets too late, and I think he's chomping at the bit. He just got back from a Florida trip. He was sending me pictures the whole last week. That son of a biscuit. He caught a bunch of fish down there, so it's good to see that he's following in his dad's footsteps. His dad used to go down there, fly down there every year before he passed away, and I guess his son is starting to do the same thing. He would go with him like every 5 years, and after talking to him, he was saying how much that he wishes he went down there more. So only reason why I bring that up, folks, is if you have old folks like me and Lyle in your life, we're not going to be around for a long time, like my father too. Make sure you enjoy us while we're here.
So very true. It
And
really
that
is.
doesn't mean at our expense either.
Well, it is what it is. Now we're sucking up.
Mm. There he goes.
You're the best, Brian.
The only reason he knows that we love him is I didn't time him out this time.
You hear our buddy Northeast Missouri Angler says I'm missing out on some good running water catfish. I haven't been catfishing really. The only time I went out after any, I didn't find it what I was looking for, and strange water to me, and I just didn't find them. Limit in 45 minutes. Wow, that's pretty good. But we'll get on them here before long. I had kept a bunch of bluegill in my live well for bait, and it got to where I needed to change the water in, so I took it out and drained all the water out in it and backed the boat into the lake to refill it, and the pump didn't work. When I get it home, the pump worked, but I already turned the bait loose, so now I got to go get some. Damn, I hate that.
It's supposed to rain all weekend, so I'm thinking I'm going to go get my bait tank out of storage and get that bad boy set up, get it ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's that time. We got some cold weather coming in the next 10 days, but some warm weather too. And every cold day we get from this point on is one less we're going to have down the road.
You know what I'm worried about, though, Lyle? I'm worried about it's going to go from Chicago weather to South Missouri weather in like a weekend up here.
It wouldn't surprise me none, because that's what's happened the last couple of years. It was like days like today was just absolutely gorgeous in the afternoon, and a week from now it'll be 90s and just sweltering hot.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. I don't care what you say. If it's too hot, it's too bad. And you know what I came across today? One of your favorite creatures on the face of this earth when I was walking into an appointment.
A snake.
You'll never guess what it is.
Snake?
A housefly.
Oh, a housefly. I had a wasp in here a while ago. That wasn't good.
This was the first one of the year, so that just kind of reminded me how bad the bugs can and will get. And also another thing that I wanted to mention, and before I forget, hey folks, I don't know if you guys know, but here on the Fox River, we had a young lady coming home from a tavern one night that went missing, and they ended up finding her car and her remains in the Fox River. God rest her soul. But they did find her, so it kind of gave a little closure to the families and the family that was involved, which is a good thing. But the reason why I mention this is if you're interested in that whole story, there's a channel out there called Chaos Divers, Lyle, and their latest video is that whole deal, because they came out here and they're the ones that found the car, and it's pretty interesting how they use that boat of theirs, and they were using a Humminbird down inside imaging, and they were using Garmin Live Scope, and with simple fish electronics they were able to find not one but a couple of cars, I believe. And one was the one they were looking for, and it was in a spot that I've done plenty of bank fishing in, and I've caught plenty of flathead off that spot. I ain't even gonna lie.
Nice.
So if you want to check that out, it's on the Chaos Divers YouTube channel. It's a pretty good watch. So if you guys want to check that out, if you're into that kind of mystery thing, missing persons thing, it's something cool. Also, it's kind of close to my home, so I figure I would mention that too.
Absolutely. That's some good information right there, because these days when the weather or water is going up and down and up and down and up and down is when people forget how dangerous water is. And they need to be very careful crossing water when it's up, because weird things can happen.
Yeah, and alcohol in the mix doesn't help either. I'm trying to find Guerrero's picture here. Let me see if I can find it. Me and him share a lot of reels and funny stuff to one another, so I need to find. Oh, here we go. I got the picture here. Why don't I share this screen here and stop screens? Oh boy. Okay, this might cause a problem. Hold on. let me figure this out. We're trying to use this whole thing, this new deal. Share screen, screen 2, allow. All right, there we go. It should just pop up there. There's Guerraro's son right there. Big
Nice.
old crappie. Look at the size of that one, Lyle.
That's a giant. That's a giant. Did you get a weight on that?
I don't know, Guerrero. Did you get a weight on that? Let us know, buddy.
Welcome, Eric Massey. Glad to see you in here tonight.
Hey, there's my buddy, Eric. But yeah, that was a heck of a fish your son caught there. Pretty cool stuff. And you know what? If that's where I think it is, and I believe it is, it's right off of Lake Michigan. So I wonder if those crappie come in off of Lake Michigan. I wouldn't have thought
early, wouldn't it? That far
well,
north?
not only that, Lake Michigan doesn't get any warmer than like 72 degrees and even cooler up there, I think. But I know down here in Chicago, the warmest it gets is like 72 or 74 degrees, if I'm not mistaken. So
that's crazy. No weight, he said.
no wait. Hey, there's Lance. Lance, if I didn't say hello to you, I want to say hello to you. What's going on? He says Ray is a fishing machine. I guess that's Guerrero's son's name.
Looks like it.
And Jeff Beal says it's going to rain the next 3 or 4 days. Trout season begins this Saturday at 8 a.m. in Pennsylvania. It also begins here at 6 a.m. in Illinois too. So I do want to remind people, at least the Illinois people listening, I don't know about in everybody else's neck of the woods, but our licenses expire. Make sure you get them. They're expired. Make sure you renew them before you get back out, because you don't want to have to pay them fines. They're getting pretty heavy. I know here in Illinois for sure.
They're everywhere else too. I think ours was ended last of February or the middle of March or something like that. But they're expired. Of course, I don't have to worry about it.
You keep telling me that.
It is what it is. There's got to be some advantages.
It's that and your meat slicer.
Yeah, living country. Welcome.
What's up, country living? How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Dyslexia set in.
Guerrero says the water where I was is like 20 feet deep. Is a 20-foot deep part where the big ships used to come into the river.
Oh, Dennis, I am so sorry. There's a story behind this. Dennis and I was on the phone, and we was talking about fishing spots, and he was going to one of his jobs that he works. And he's driving down the road trying to explain to me a couple things about where I was going, and gets pulled over by the cop for speeding and gets a ticket. I felt so bad. I figured it was my fault, but he said I didn't make him push that foot feed down that hard. $160. Wow. That's crazy.
It ain't cheap, man. They're getting more expensive. I got a ticket for tinted windows in my car, and I've had them for like 14 years, and I finally got a ticket. It was $185, Lyle.
Danny Stone says, I'll be back going to look for the cow that just flew by the house. Free steaks. Danny and where Josh lives is getting ready to get it if they're not already. They got severe weather in that area in southern Illinois and southeast Missouri. So anybody that's living over there, be sure to batten down the hatches because it's there.
We'll be thinking and praying for everybody out there, because Mother Nature has not been kind this year, has it? It's been tornado after tornado.
That's exactly right. Country Living says, I caught a 3/4 pound bluegill yesterday on an inline spinner. It was great. Heck yeah. People, I watched some videos from some guys that cuss them, and one of them is Alex. He'll try them, but he has limited success with them. Inline spinners are very good to me. I've had a lot of success with them, and they don't work every time, but nothing does. But they work good for me.
That's Alex from Realistic Fishing, right?
Yep. You're right.
Good dude. He stops in my lives when I'm fishing all night just because he used to live up this way before he moved down there.
Right. Bobcat Outdoors, welcome.
What's going on, Bobcat? How you doing, bud? Bobcat or Greg Burgess says we had winds 17 to 25 miles an hour and gusts up to 45.
Yeah, we had some rough stuff yesterday and this morning, but man, this afternoon was really nice. But it's still windy. Not that windy, but pretty windy. But it's like I say, we're getting down on the end of that where the weather is going to be much better. April usually gets a lot of rain, but you can put a raincoat on. But when that wind's blowing and you can't gotta hold on to whatever you're in fishing just to be able to stand there, whether it be a tree or a dock or a boat, that's very uncomfortable. Oh, Bob, I'm so sorry. I seen you had made a post of that today.
Hope you get better soon, Bobcat. 100%. Whatever's going around, it's a long time. I was talking to NJ, Fishing Maniac, today. He's got one too that he's had for almost 3 months now. Hopefully that's not the case for you.
Man. That's crazy. I've had some like that over the past couple of years, and it's just miserable. All them sucks. It does. Wow.
Yeah. Ooh, well, hopefully Richard and Stephanie and you are all safe.
Absolutely.
So what do you say, Lyle? You say I bring in a fish so you can brag a little bit?
You can if you like.
All right, why don't we do that? Oh, look, there's mine. There's some of the fish I caught this. Nothing spectacular, but at least I got out. Just so that Brian B can't say I don't fish anymore. Look at that beast.
That's a monster.
That's a monster.
Perfect bait.
I caught that on a look. If you can see that, that's like a 2.5 inch crappie bait. I caught that little guy on.
Yep.
And then I caught like 10 trout yesterday. It is still catch and release until this Saturday morning, but they were fun to catch nonetheless. I didn't catch them on dough bait or anything. I wasn't expecting to catch them, but I'll tell you what, they sure do love them Berkley 1-inch Gulp minnows, Lyle.
Really?
They do. And I was casting out there, leaving them sit. As soon as I started moving them, I mean, the second I turned that crank, that's when they were hitting. So
wow.
If you're going out for trout season and everybody's out there using power bait, they got all that stuff. They eat so much of that stuff. If you go to cut them open, it's coming out of their bunghole.
Look at there. Betty Jean Cross has joined us.
Oh, no, we're in trouble now.
I have a question. You said it's catch and release till Saturday. So after Saturday, is it still catch and release, or are you going to eat them?
No, it is. You can keep 5.
I didn't say whether you could or not. Are you?
Me? I don't think so. It's supposed to rain this weekend, and I'm not into that whole combat fishing thing. And to tell you the truth, I'm not the biggest fan of trout. I've said.
That's the answer I was looking for right there.
Yeah, time and time again. I mean, I've said this before. I don't mind smoked trout when it's right off the smoker, still nice and hot. It's pretty good. Or if you let it you get it off the bone while it's still hot. This way you're not getting bones. You take the meat and you mix it in with some a little bit of lemon juice, some capers, some cream cheese, and you got really good trout dip. It's really good on crackers. That I'll take any day of the week. It's like chef's kiss.
No, delicious. Yeah. Guerrero says I was killing the gills with 2.5-inch Gulp minnows, thick ones.
Nice. Thick ones. There you go.
Great information right there.
All right, we got a couple more here, you guys. Oh, look at this. Whose bucket of fish is that, Lyle?
That'd be me.
Oh, look at that. Lyle got a whole bucket. I wish I could zoom in on that. Let me see. Can I zoom in on that with this?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think I can. Look at this. Look at that. There's a whole bucket of bluegills in there. Look at that. Did you get all them cleaned up?
Most of them are bait.
Oh, bait. That's right. All right. There's an example of one of them. Man, look at you. You're looking thin too, man. Ain't you eating anymore? Did you quit eating or what?
I didn't quit eating. You know better. Come on, man. Them with some really nice red ears.
And this right here is the fish of the week here from Mr. Stokes.
That is a 2.25, I believe, crop.
Do you see that, Betty Jean? Look at the size of that bad boy. That's a heck of a fish. Congratulations, Lyle. They don't come too often, but it's good to see that you got onto that one.
They don't come for me very often.
I really got I pissed Lyle off when he sent me that picture. I asked him, I says, what, Doctor, he's letting you hold his fish now? He didn't like that too much. He didn't talk to me for half a day, I think.
Not true. Not
So
true.
I got to make it up to him and brag on his fish. Look at that monster. What'd you use to catch that sucker?
Jig.
One of yours?
No, it actually was plastic.
A plastic? All right, good deal. See, plastic does work.
Sometimes.
So that's how we got to show off this week, folks. So there we go.
Danny says that Richard and Stephanie are in their basement and his wife is under the kitchen table. And I kept running outside in my boxers. That's a vision I'll wear the rest of the night.
I do that all the time. I take the trash to the curb. You can ask people. They've seen me do it. and if you ask Betty, I live in a pretty densely populated area. They just don't care anymore.
I've done it for years. I don't care if they like it or not.
I agree, Dennis. Dennis from Northeast Missouri Angling says trout tastes fishy to me. Yeah, it does have. And there isn't you can't put enough dill or lemon on it to make it taste not fishy. So
or anything else.
This is true. This is true.
Oh man.
Looks like Betty agrees. Betty, sorry I didn't pick up the phone. I was live. I guess she figured that out already.
You probably forgot.
Look at this. Bobcat's liking that crappie picture, I think. Betty says that's a beaut.
It was a great fish. Now to back it up with a couple would be nice.
Guerrero's kid caught a bigger fish than yours, though. He says that pic that we showed was 16 inches.
Wow, that's a giant.
Did you get at least a measurement on that one, a length, or no?
Did not. Did not.
Popcat says, I like sardines, so trout tastes much less fishy. It's a different kind of fishy because I don't mind sardines.
Eric Massey says, I agree. Not a fan of trout. Absolutely not.
But they are fun to catch. And it's also...
The sad part about them is if you're not going to keep them, you really got to be careful or they won't survive. They're very fragile.
Well, I was setting the hooks on these. I wasn't letting them gobble them down. So as soon as I saw that bobber twitch, I knew I had one on. When I was hooking them, every single one of them was right in the nose. So they were fine. They weren't going anywhere. So, or they weren't going to die. They weren't passing. So
I hear all this stuff is you need to catch them fish in the corner of the mouth. That's what I think of the corner of the mouth. I want it around the lower jaw or the upper jaw. They ain't coming off that way. Period. You got a good hook that won't break or won't bend, that fish is coming to you.
Well, like I said, I got them on the 1-inch Gulp minnows, and they literally catch anything, Lyle. Even bass. Even
okay, catfish.
When you go, catfish too. When you go bass fishing next time, I think you should try them. Then you'll get a whole bunch of bass on them suckers.
I'll have to ask Dockery about that. He's the bass master.
Oh, is that what it is?
Well, he caught one bass, and I got a picture of it, so he'll be the bass master forever.
He does eat them though, so that's to his credit.
Yeah, he don't call nothing. He'll eat them all.
I haven't had a bass in a long time. Maybe we'll do a bass catch and cook this year.
I don't mind eating bass if they're not too big. I like them when the smaller ones, but I like smaller catfish too. I don't like great big ones. Flatheads, it doesn't seem to make any difference. But man, it's just really, really hard for me to kill a flathead, eat it because they're so pretty.
Lyle, them big bass, eat them big crappie that size. Just wanted you to see that.
That's why every bass you harvest is one less that's going to eat our crappie and bluegill. Words of a wise man told me once.
And Danny Stone is absolutely correct. He says, number one is always wet your hands before handling trout if you are going to release them.
And never, ever stick your finger in a trout gill. It can't take it. They just can't take it.
They'll bleed out in a minute, real quick.
Oh, Danny, you're killing me.
Guerrero says, I used some Gulp crickets last week. Worked pretty well.
I
Interesting.
wondered about those things. I've seen videos where guys use them and they claim that they work, but you know, it's nice for somebody that you know say that they work good.
Jeff Beal says trout is a good source for bait from now till early summer. Catch them up. You know, I know that Josh from Pig Patrol uses the heck out of them trout for his big channel cats that he fishes in that one city lake of his near his house, and he does really well with them. I've tried trout heads here and I haven't caught anything, just like Skipjack had the same result. So,
well, one thing I think they need to be native to your water. The second thing is they're illegal for me to use, kind of like bass, because I promise you, if bass was legal in my state, I would go catch them just to use them, whether they was worked or not. I don't care. But yeah, I'm with Eric. They keep them to eat. Hey, looky, Chad made it in the chat. Welcome, buddy. Glad to see you in here tonight.
what's up, Chadwick? Hopefully D's feeling better.
Yeah, I don't. They're not my pick as number one, Guerrero. You know, it's not that they're horrible, or I don't think they're horrible, but there's better fish to eat. If you put enough seasoning on them, you can make most things other than drum and gar taste good.
You know, I'm going to tell everybody a secret on how to make fish taste less fishy. 2 secrets. Obviously, everybody knows cut as much blood out as you can, right? And that includes bleeding them out before you take them home. 2 is once you get the fillets off them, you get them all deboned, you get the skin off them, put them in a glass bowl, run them under cold water, and run them for about 20 minutes until that flesh gets whiter than it was before. You'll get a bunch of that color out of there, and that color is usually fat or blood, and that's what gives them that fishy taste. So
that's right. Chad says I actually made it in at the start, but was listening while doing my kid's hair. I'm going to let that slide this time, just because I'm a nice guy, Chad.
Hey, let him do his kid's hair. When a kid asks you to have a tea party, you have a freaking tea party.
It doesn't matter. That's right. If that little girl wants to go see a horror house in Iowa, or if she wants her hair done, he's doing the right thing by being a great dad.
You know, I had nieces stay with me for extended periods of time, and I've played in plenty of dollhouse, Lyle. I ain't gonna lie.
Whatever it takes, whatever, they'll never forget it. You might not hear a thank you about it, but you'll never forget it. They'll never forget.
Northeast Missouri Angling says buttermilk will help too. Mark 100%. You know what else works good? If you're flouring your fillets, I like to use sour cream rather than buttermilk. Let them sit in there. They both have the lactic acid that the sour or buttermilk has the same amount of lactic acid, which is what neutralizes that taste in fish. But if you're flouring them, it makes for a great batter rather than a breaded fish. It's chef's kiss delicious.
Yep, I got you.
Hey, we got one here. Fish and Fidget, welcome to the show. Y'all use cheese bait? Yes, I do. I like it. I use that Secret 7. And my good folks at Whisker Seekers just sent me what is it, a 1 pound container or a 1 gallon container, a pretty big bucket of cheese bait of theirs that I'm going to use to catch some eaters this summer for sure. I found out that cheese bait or dip bait, I should say, you need a little warmer water temps than the 47 degrees we have here right now on the river. So I'm going to hold on to that, and we'll definitely do some fishing with that this year for sure. Look at this. Since when did you become nice? Is he talking to you or me, Lyle?
I'm pretty sure me, but Chad, I've always been nice. And if you don't believe me, just ask me.
And Guerrero says, I trim the yellow flesh too. Yeah, that yellow is fat. That's technically what
yeah.
that is. Yep.
Yep, that's right.
Bugman says, what Mark is not telling is he enjoyed wearing the dresses. I told you not to tell anybody. Says, don't let the fish just die in a live well or rot in a stringer. 100%. If you can't keep them alive, I'll bleed them out right away, and I'll try to get them as chilled as possible. But I'm fortunate enough that my boat has a pretty high-end live well. I haven't had a fish die in there yet. So I've been keeping them alive, and then I'll put them on a stringer and gill them right before I head back to the boat ramp. And what a difference it makes! I don't care if it's crappie, walleye, or catfish; it makes a big difference. So
I think that if you're planning on keeping fish and you're pretty sure you're going to be on some, just have you a cooler with ice in it and just throw them on that ice. Just if you want to bleed them and then put them on the ice, but get them on ice. And not only is it preserve the meat and makes them taste better, they're a lot easier to clean if they're chilled.
100%. I let mine sit on ice overnight before I even fillet them. That usually works pretty good. Jigging with Jake, I talked to him about this, and he does the same thing, and we both come up with pretty much the same results. They're easier to clean, and it just works better. There's they're a lot easier to fillet. Bugman says he used Big Quick the other day. He's undecided yet, so I guess he's not sure if he liked them.
Well, maybe I'll do some more that way. Eat some more.
Chad says, I heard he still wears them, Buggy, just to bring back the memories, of course.
Of course.
Whatever,
it'll
work.
What a guy. Oh, man.
And we were being nice to him.
Trying to. It's hard, though.
Mm-hmm.
Peanut bait must be a certain kind of bait. I've not heard of it before.
What am I missing here, Lyle?
Guerrero made a post below there of the fishing fidget that he hasn't seen China bait in a long time. It must be some brand of bait. I've not heard of it before.
Never heard of it. I thought he said cheese bait earlier. I could have read that wrong.
Either way, that's maybe something we should check into. I like trying new stuff.
Well, I started using that dip bait just because when we had our office back not too long ago, I would leave the office to run errands and stuff, and I'd come across a pond, and I would keep that container of dip bait in the back of my truck with some lighter fishing rods, and I'd like to test ponds, see if there's any catfish in them or not. If there was, you can usually find them with dip bait. Also, one of the local catfish holes that I fish over here, there's slight current. It's a creek that comes in, it's dammed off at the other end, and the fish aren't usually up in the flats. But if I throw one stink bait hook out there and that current, in an hour the fish come looking to see what that scent is. That's another reason why I'm a big proponent in scent when it comes to at least channel cats. So not so much for flathead. I think you'll get more attention with vibrations and thumping in the water, but it doesn't mean that scent doesn't work for them either, because people do catch it on cut bait as well. So
especially smaller ones. The big ones, they want. I know people catch flatheads on cut bait. I've done it myself, but I still contend they would rather have live bait.
I agree. I want to agree with you really bad, Lyle, and I believe it in my heart that that's true. But my PB of 58 pounds came on a 1-inch piece of shad.
I know. Isn't that weird?
I don't understand it, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't either.
Guerrero says it's like some type of flesh that is soft, moves well in the water, like sealskin imitation, I believe. I know up there in Wisconsin by you, Guerrero, they sell actual beaver tail pieces that people use for ice fish, and they use fairly well. They use those and do fairly well with them. So
yeah,
those are good because they never come off a hook. It's like a carp skin,
Asian carp skin is a lot tougher than common carp skin. You almost got to cut it off a hook. Now, I've had them little bait rapers get after my hook when I was using Asian carp for bait and wasn't in the hole I needed to be in, and they will eat all the meat off that skin and leave the skin hanging on the hook because they couldn't get it off.
I've had that happen to me. The few times that I've been out to Powerton Lakes here, I believe that's right outside of Peoria, if I'm not mistaken. We've used Asian carp there And yeah, that's exactly what was happening in us. You know, it's 14 degrees below zero, and the last thing you want to do is wrestle a skin off a darn hook. So we'd just leave it on there. But yeah, that definitely did happen. Yeah, the 3 times I've been out there, Lyle, I got skunked 3 times. Other people caught fish, pretty decent sized ones. But it's always been like, you know, you have a word for when it's that kind of cold that we're not going to say on the show tonight.
No,
Or a
you don't
term
like it?
No. Speaking of Powerton, there's Ryan over at setting the hooks and crossing eyes. Congratulations, Ryan. I saw on Facebook from Robert's post. Him and Robert won first place. I think it's San Chris. Correct me if I'm wrong. Catfish tournament this past weekend. Way to go, guys.
Congratulations.
And if I'm not mistaken, San Chris is where the Illinois state record flathead was caught. If I'm not mistaken.
I'm pretty sure you're right about that. I remember somebody catching that and making a post about it, what, a year or two ago.
Third place in Clinton. Forgive me. My bad. Third place is still hella great, too.
Heck yeah.
Good job, fellas.
Yes, sir.
He says, and it was, yes, San Chris is for the flathead record. That's what I thought. This summer, it's going to be Fox River, 84 pounds, I'm predicting. And it's going to be me, Lyle, right here, this guy.
I hope you do.
Brian says, Chadwick behaving here. We'll be taking notes from this point on.
Oh, man. Them guys are something else. Be sure to tune in to Chad and Brian and the guys, Freddie and I can't remember the other guy's name.
Chris.
Tomorrow night at 7, right here on the YouTube channel, it'll be Fields to Water. They will be going at something. No telling what, but Chad will be bragging about his fishing skills, and Brian will be telling me he don't have any. That's kind of
I'll be watching. I always watch.
Yeah, I usually watch too. Mark, 80 anything is your age and not going to be your first.
I was getting there. Relax there, Lyle. I know you like reading those.
I do, as a matter of fact.
Set Hooks, he says, you better spend some time out there. I'll tell you that. That ain't no joke. I'm still trying to get that 40-pound class fish. And there's the comment from Brian. He says, Mark, 80 anything is your age. Not going to be your PB, buddy. At least I'm still fishing, Brian.
That's right. We need to figure out something.
Read this one for me, Lyle.
I love Chris's channel, Fields to Water.
I thought it was Brian's channel. I don't know what to say.
I think that we need to do an interview with Brian and find out if he get the scoop. Find out if he's just completely quit fishing, or if he's just taking a couple years off, or if he don't want to get his hands dirty or whatever.
Now that he's a big YouTube star, he can't afford to waste the time fishing.
I guess that's right.
He's got to spend all that time on thumbnails.
Well, he's been doing pretty good, actually.
I don't know who's making the thumbnails for that show. I think
I don't know either. I don't have any idea. It doesn't matter. They've been pretty good. So
all the pictures I use for thumbnails are mine. Thank you very much. Well, except for a couple. A couple of them are AI. That's secrets out. But other than that, most of the fish pictures are mine. So there you go, Brian. Guerrero says biggest blue from Powerton was 22 pounds and a bunch of dinks. I've seen some pretty big ones come out of there.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm not sure. I have suspect. I suspect how they got in there, but I can't confirm it. I know that's like Lake Springfield, Illinois. The guys that live over there would lead you to believe that all the fish grew in that lake. That was a little small, very small lake. and none of them big fish come out of that lake. They all come from the Mississippi River and was hauled up there. And then you have to spend money going and pay things to launch and do all kinds. Makes it a pay lake in my book. But what do I know?
I think what I've heard is that in Powhatan that those fish that are in there came from flooding of the Illinois, especially the Asian carp. That's where they came from at Powhatan. So
there's who has ever caught a blue the size of the ones that comes out of Powhatan and the Illinois River?
I have no idea. That's what I was told.
Nobody.
I am not a blue cat fisherman. I go for the flatheads, the hard fish.
They are hard fish. They really are.
What's going on, Mike Irvin? How you doing, buddy?
I'm not so sure that they are hard fish. I think they take more patience than the others.
Yeah, I think they're more territorial. They don't school up. Plain and simple. It just makes them harder. They're more they don't move as much as like blue cats. So
no, blue cats will go hundreds and hundreds of miles, maybe once or twice a year. They're not homebodies. Flatheads, on the other hand, a few miles each direction of their home is about as far as they ever go, unless they've been shocked or some kind of something goes on, and they'll move then and establish another home. They're just homebodies. They'd rather sit in their living room and wait for something to go by to grab them a snack, and they'll get out and make a stroll a couple times a day or in a 24-hour period. Grab something to eat, they'll go back and sit underneath whether it's a tree stump or down log or whatever it is that they call home, and just wait for you to find it and throw bait at it.
They'll lay in the bottom of a channel, inside the bottom of a hole, and they'll stay there most of the day. I still think that all the flatheads I've ever caught during the day, which has been a few, not hundreds of them, but a few dozen of them, that I've hit them in the head. Definitely. I don't know how else, or if I've been dragging baits the few times I did that I've caught flatheads, that I've drug a bait across their nose. So definitely 100% that. So
there's a couple of things that I've never done. I've never caught a flathead dragging baits or pulling boards, and I've never caught one on a bumper. And I hear guys that have, but I never did. So.
It could very well be. Guys are catching them all the time. Guys catch them in the winter. Guys are catching them, in the middle of channels sometimes, deep channels, deep holes or whatever. You can always come across them. The chances aren't none, slim to none, but they're there. Let's see, Brian B. Let's get caught up in chat here. Brian B. says, "I'm fishing, y'all just don't see me doing it." But yeah, my thumbnail.
How can you prove it then? Come on, Brian.
Yeah, I don't even see pictures of him on Facebook. Fish pictures.
He used to be at every tournament. Used to be in every tournament.
Now he's hosting them all. I can't even get Brian to show up to work. You think he's doing the thumbnails too? There's our buddy Daryl. Oh no, Frank. I'm sorry about that thing. Yeah. I apologize, but Frank from Twisted Fishing TV says, "Hope everyone is safe during the tornado outbreak. Been watching the radar. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah,
we've been
good idea."
Look at this, and Ryan says he tore him up at Springfield a couple weeks ago. There's one spot that I keep seeing on all these videos that if I went to Springfield, I'd go there and check, and it's that bridge, 100%.
Oh, Lake Springfield?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ryan says there's no big fishing. I'm sorry?
That's where you find shad. If you're talking about Springfield, Illinois, that lake over there, that's the shad are usually right there at the bridge.
Nice. I wish we knew where the shad were over by us. Ryan, I'll text you after the show. I did find a ton of shad the other day. Ryan says there's no big fish in Illinois. In the Illinois, I believe he says. You can't even find big flathead, Lyle. I don't think it has the right elements for big fish. That could very well be.
I've fished there a number of times and been in a lot of tournaments over there, and We caught some good fish. I'm not saying there's not good fish in there, but no Powerton size blues that I've seen pulled out of power.
Yeah, I've seen 50 plus fish, 50 plus pound fish come out of Powerton, if I'm not mistaken.
And numbers of them. Yeah. Some days, several in one day. But and I know a lot of guys that do that, but to get to where the fish are at, my understanding is you have to go so far to find them. So
in the winter, it's a little easier when they're running the hot water. They're not. I don't think they're running that power plant anymore, but I know they still run the hot water, if I'm not mistaken. So that's the place to go. That's where all the fish congregate up in the winter, which is why so many guys make that mile and 1.4 mile walk, if I'm not mistaken, from the parking lot out to the cooling pond over there, and they do fairly well. Benoit Fishing Outdoors, welcome, ladies. Says sorry I'm late. Sorry I'm late at work running. How is everyone? We're doing good.
Hey, Dawson's joined us. Welcome, buddy.
Ryan over at Setting Hooks and Crossing Eyes says they all head to the Mississippi. I think that could very well be from the Illinois.
Oh, and that's like the Ohio River. A lot of the big fish that are caught in the Ohio River, and I'm not saying there's not big fish in the Ohio. There is big fish in the Ohio. But I think a percentage of them come from the Mississippi and go up the Ohio. And they may, like I say, they may go up and down there 3 or 4 times a year. It's hard to say, but right there at the confluence is a great place. And if they're at the confluence, they'll go up that Ohio River. It's the same way with the Illinois.
Just wondering. Chad says the hard fish. You mean the fish where you get to cast out, take a nap for a few hours before one bites? Yeah.
That's funny stuff right there. I don't care who you are.
I kind of thought it was kind of humorous too.
Yeah.
But Chad's a funny guy.
He is.
And Frank says I fish. Frank says I fish for flatheads like I would bass a lot of times. I will roll up, fish the crap out of wood piles and trees. Yep, and then leave if you don't catch nothing.
That's right. And don't spend tons and tons of time on them. Not in the daytime, I mean.
Brian B says blue cats are the best fish. Mark wishes he had them. That's all. You have an open invitation to come to the Potomac River.
The Potato River?
Brian, you don't even remember what a blue cat looks like, buddy. And you're welcome to come out here too, Brian. I got a bed for you upstairs. Get back in Powerton to Asian carp. And Field Swatter says, I've caught several dragon baits.
Drum.
Tripped across them. Played a lottery when that happens, Chadwick.
They have more, I think, them and the further east you go, I think there's more flatheads out there than in other areas, at least concentrated areas of them. I really do. Around here, unless you just get a giant, flatheads won't win you any tournaments. You take blue cat tournaments unless it's a channel cat only specific tournament. But out east on the Ohio River and places like that, they consistently win tournaments with flatheads because the concentration of them is more than there is around here. And they catch them in various different ways too. So kudos to them guys.
Brian B asks Chad, would you catch a snag?
Oh.
Greg says, Brian B, the problem is that you are fishing and not catching.
There you go.
Setting hooks and crosses. I say, yeah, the river should definitely come up. I'm hoping I need to get under that dam on Friday if I go out there.
Yeah. That sounds like a plan to me. I just don't know the weather. I don't know what the weather's going to be like yet, so I can't decide what I want to do.
Kevin says he's caught 2 flatheads on Erie Dearies.
We talked about that the other day, and you had to look them up, or somebody did and sent me a link so I knew what that was.
I talked to Betty about them, and she's claiming that the ones they sell at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's are not the original ones and not as good. So you got to get the original ones off of eBay, but they're like 20, 25 bucks if I remember her telling me correctly. So
Wow. Well, she probably knows.
yeah, she does. And if you don't, she lets you know it.
I guarantee it.
Northeast Missouri Angler says weather permitting, Corps and volunteers placing crappie cubes and spider blocks this Saturday the 5th. That will be helping out. Cool.
Very nice. You can make a map for me so I'll know where all of them are at for future references, Dennis.
Yep, and you did say hello to Dawson. I'm going to say hello to Dawson. What's up, buddy? How you doing? Long time no see. Good to see you, my friend. And Ryan says he got a.
Go ahead.
Ryan got a 60-pounder at Powerton. Way to go!
What I'm saying, they got some giant fish in that lake. I keep going back and revisiting some of Dawson's videos that he made about reading fish finders and how everything works. And and since I brought that up, my sight image is not working on mine. I've got a case of red ass about that.
You need to get yourself a Garmin, and then you'll be good to go.
That'll never happen. I want one that works all the time.
Well, obviously, your Humminbird ain't working right.
You know how old that thing is? Do you have any idea?
Wait. When you and I are on screen with all of these animals in chat, don't bring up the word old because we're going to catch it from them.
when that Garmin makes it to be as old as that bird is, you can tell me about it. I mean, holy crap. And Lawrence, I don't even want to talk about them things. I ain't never seen one that worked consistently. The one I had in that monster kit was junk.
Brandon Cross, he puts his to work. It looks pretty good when I'm in his boat, and he catches.
It looks great. But I fought that thing the whole time I had that monster kit. It worked, it didn't work. It worked, it didn't work. Run all new wires for it twice. Sent it in the factory once. Didn't matter. It'd come back and you'd be using it, everything going real good. It'd just go out. And maybe it'd come back on, maybe it wouldn't. You know, it's a piece of shit from the word go. Never have another one.
Well, there goes our Lawrence sponsorship, Lyle.
I wasn't counting on it anyhow, really. It'd have been like one of the major boat companies that tried to sponsor Catfish Weekly, and I turned them down. So,
speaking of sponsorships, I'm going to plug mine right now. Whisker Seekers save 15% off of their sale items using the discount code at checkout, MCC15. You get a hell of a deal. And they just came out, Danny Stone, with a 10-footer that you can pick up for like $60 with that discount code. You can't go wrong with a catfish rod for $60. You can break 2 of them and still be ahead of the game. So
that's a pretty good deal right there.
Yeah, that's as fair as a deal you're going to get when it comes to catfish rods. So
Dawson says he might go fishing again someday. Well, I hope you do because I enjoy your videos, buddy. I really do.
And look at this. I'm kind of just like, if I'm not live streaming, I'm fishing like Ryan is. He says, I already moved 6 times in one of Chad's naps.
Oh, man. Wait till you get to Brian's again.
Hold on. Chad says, I sent Brian pictures recently to remind him what they look like. He's talking about blue cats.
Oh, man.
Benoit Fishing Outdoors says, I sat on the same flathead for hours before it bit and didn't see the other one down there. That'll happen.
That's fact. Part of it. Takes a special person to be a committed flathead fisherman.
I agree. And Ryan's a maniac. I ain't gonna joke. You know, I asked him. I gotta say this. It made me laugh. I asked him about a section of river that I was interested in checking out. Right, that I don't fish in too much, just north of me. And he was saying that him and Robert, when they ask each other if they feel like getting the crap beat out of them, is when they go to fish that section of the river. So,
yeah, I'd be passing on that, I think.
And Chad says D's PB flathead was caught dragging baits as well. Benoit says, "Oh, I like the way that sounds." Says we have more flatheads than we have blue cats. Those ladies, they put the hurt on some of them flatheads wherever they're fishing. So,
and good channel cat too.
Greg and Brian are going at it.
Really?
Yeah, I saw that. Guerrero says I used Comet Carp in Powerton when I was there. They were spawning, so I chucked big rocks at one and used it. Oh, at the carp. You know, at Powerton, you can't snag for Asian carp, but if you're throwing big spoons with big hooks and you happen to snag one on accident, you could use it for bait. Just a little information there.
That's crazy, but yeah, it's the only way you can catch them other than them jumping in your boat, you know. Throwing a cast net on them maybe, but I'm not sure that'd be legal at Powerton. But I've chased shad up in the shallows with a cast net and throwed it and come up with 2 or 3 shad and 3 or 4 big old Asian carp. And they will wreak havoc on an 8-foot net if you're not careful.
Well, you know, did I send you the video of that guy who threw a cast net out and literally got like 100 gar in his cast net?
I feel sorry for that dude.
He couldn't get it over the side of the boat.
You know, gar are horrible, and I hate it when they get in the net because they're very destructive. They'll tear up your net. But one thing I like at least as much, dislike at least as much, is them little catfish about that long.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh my God.
You know, as much as I hate to do it, you gotta. This is what happens when those little ones get caught in the cast net right here. Got cutters in here. Those the spines they have on their fins, man. They get stuck.
If you don't get them out of the net when you cut them off, they will bite you in the ass again.
100% they will. Chad says the Ohio is about to go up from 28 feet to over 50 feet in 2 days. You know what that means, Lyle?
That means Chad ought to be out there fishing in that.
They might have a little bit of current.
Oh, I guarantee you they got current. Yeah, 30 feet over normal. Yeah, it goes up 30 feet. But when they get current when that Ohio goes up, but normally they don't have a whole lot. But when it goes up, they got plenty. Enough that you better not get in the boat without a life jacket.
Hey, Lyle, I'm going to let you read that one. I'm going to let you have the joy in reading that comment.
Ohio River is one of my least favorite fisheries. Maybe because I seen Chad fish it and he sucked at catching. Nicely done, Brian.
I hope you get the fish soon, Dawson. Ryan says, I'm thinking about picking up a Humminbird Explorer.
I haven't seen a lot of information on one of them. I was at Bass Pro Shop, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and seen that they had one in there, but there was 2 or 3 guys screwing with it, and I didn't really get a chance to look it over really good. But what I did take a look at, and I can't afford, is a new Helix 15, or Helix.
No, you need an Apex.
No, I can't afford that. I ain't going to make payments on it.
Well, Chad is flexible with his loan program.
I'm thinking you'd have to talk to Dee about that. And by the way, from what Chad has told me, Dee is recovering nicely from her procedure, and we are thrilled to see that she's getting along good. So remember to keep her in your thoughts and prayers as things go along, so she can get back and keep Chad on the straight and narrow.
100%, because now he's running rampant all over that house and she can't catch him and beat him down. So
that's right.
Kevin says our Walmart has the original Iridiris for $3.99, all sizes and colors. Hey, maybe they're available online. We'll have to take a look at that for you.
Yeah, maybe so.
See what else we got. Chad said, good night, ladies. I think he's going to bed.
Sounds like Dieter.
I think we're caught up with the Chad Lyle. Lyle, so you going fishing this weekend or what? Or are you getting bad weather like me?
Well, it's going to cool off. It was really nice today, but I think the high tomorrow is going to be upper 50s, and I'm going to try to get out in the morning a little bit. From 20s to 30-mile-an-hour winds and gust higher than that this afternoon. So we're in the morning. We're only supposed to have 6-mile-an-hour wind. So if the sun shines and it's not windy like it's not supposed to be, it won't be bad out fishing. So I'm going to give it a shot in the morning and see how it goes.
I'm gonna. I have an appointment. I got somewhere I need to be tomorrow, so I'm gonna try and get out Friday. I haven't decided if I'm gonna go up to the chain and try to find some crappie, or if I'm gonna go hit the river for some walleye. The river might be a little muddy after all this rain, so I don't know. I got to take that into consideration. So we may be going up to the chain and chasing some crappie. So hopefully we can do that, or I might head back out to a couple other places that I wanted to check out. So.
Did I mention tonight about my live well pump not intaking water?
No, you did not.
I had 15 really nice bluegill and one shiner in the live well. Been in there for several days, and the water was getting to where it needed change. So I took it out, drained the water out, backed the boat in. It wouldn't pull water back in the live well. So I ended up having to put all those back. So now I don't have any bait, but I'd rather do that than I'm suffocating from lack of oxygen or whatever in dirty water in the live well. So that's why I need more bait, and I'm going to have to go back out and catch some. There's been so much wind, and I haven't found great. A few weeks ago, I found a lot of shad, and the last couple of times I've been out, I didn't find a lot. So if you have plenty of bluegill, you'll get along fine. You'll catch fish on those. But if I get a chance to get some shad, I'll get those. But I love catching them bluegill. Actually, Katie Doctor caught shiners about like that.
Oh, giant. Big ones. Oh,
giant. Caught two of them. I used one of them for bait, and the other was in that live well. Like I say, I turned it back just because I didn't want anything to happen to those fish. But I come home and I went out there today. I said, well, I better check that. See, I turned the pump on. It's working. What are you going to do?
Let me give you, I used to have that same problem with my old boat, Lyle. You know what I learned that really works is you turn that live well on and you put the motor in reverse. And
shove water up in the pump.
That'll shove some water into there, and it'll force the air out of there, and it'll pick up. You might have to do it a couple of times, but usually that would do the trick for me. So next time, maybe try that. Hopefully that'll help you out.
I got a tip for everybody that's going to be fishing this weekend.
What's that?
If you find a piece, a creek or a small river that's running into a bigger body of water, it'll be a transition period right there, where water is one color and the other. Fish that spot.
Another thing I like about weather like this is it's a lot easier to see the seams in a little river like mine. So I got clear and definite target areas to fish. So that being said, Lally, you got anything else?
I have a question for you about your river, because I know it's not very deep. Does it change every year? Does it get enough water in it to change every year?
It does.
Okay.
It does change a little bit, and not so much change, but certain areas will fill in certain places, and certain places will get deeper. There's one bay over by that I catch a lot of channel cats in that has gone from like 2 feet to 4 feet in the last 5 years, that's a 100% gain, right? That's 100% gain in depth. So it does. Also, that whenever we get high water like this in the spring, it moves structure around most definitely. So sometimes I'll go out there and I'll do more scanning and more of marking waypoints to where that structure is and do that at the beginning of the year. I find that to be very helpful for me. I send you pictures whenever I come across something that looks interesting. So
yeah, I enjoy that very much. Because let's face it, any information we can get, whether it be our water or somebody else's, is helpful in the future.
And I got to show this picture once more, Lyle, because I'm so proud of you. Look at that.
That's a great fish. It really is.
Your good old, 8-pound crappie right there, folks. That's 8 pounds if anybody asks.
Yeah, well, it's not 8 pounds. 2.2.
All right, Lyle. Say goodnight to everybody, bud.
Good night, everybody.
Have a great time. Have a great weekend. Get out there and fish. Stay safe. Everybody who's in the bad weather. Bye-bye.